Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day, and I like to give you some great reasons to go to black-cat-comics.com and pick up something fun to read. This week is packed with stuff that's fun to read. Lots and lots of fun things to talk about. Going to start with the Marvel guys. This is Empire #3. Yes, it's weekly. Yes, I've been talking about this book every single week, and yes, I'm super excited about it. I know there's some naysayers out there going, oh, not another event book, but this is awesome. The Kree-Skrull War sort of invented events way back in the day, 100 years ago when I was a kid. And it's great to see the Kree and Skrull and all that being a big part of the Marvel continuity. And, as I've been saying again every week, these Jim Cheung covers are awesome. Jim Cheung, you're just amazing. Look at that cool Black Panther cover right there. Pick up Empire, grab #1, grab #2. If you're trepidatious, just grab #1. It will definitely suck you in and make you want to keep reading. Like all the events, there's always lots of stuff to talk about. Empire, Captain America. You know I'm a huge Captain America fan. You know this is already in my stack because everything that says Captain America is already in my stack. The B cover to this book is really awesome. I always like to show the A covers because that's the main book. Savage Avengers, Empire Savage Avengers. Also super awesome. You know I love everything Avengers. You know I loved Savage Avengers. You probably loved Savage Avengers too. Because, I mean, Conan teaming up with Venom? Come on. This issue's a lot of fun. You can read more about it in the newsletter. You don't need to follow Empire or know anything about anything to pick up this issue and really dig it. It was just a ton of fun. Captain Marvel. This is not it's an Empire tie-in. This is your main issue of Captain Marvel. This is definitely book of the week. It's kind of already sold out. I hope this one's already on your sub list. Otherwise, it might cost you a couple of bucks. X-Men #10 is your 5th Empire book of the week. Like I say, always a lot of this crossover stuff going on with the big event books. I always say you don't have to read all the stuff. If you're reading X-Men, you can just read X-Men. You're reading Empire, you don't need to read X-Men. But, as I also always say, if you dabble in some of the other stuff, I think you're going to like it, and you're going to want to keep following some of those books. All that Empire stuff's been a lot of fun. Speaking of X-Men, X-Factor #1. Another new X book going along with all this X Renaissance stuff that's been rolling out, like X-Men and X-Force and New Mutants. Now it's X-Factor. Whole new take on the book, so if you're a fan of original X-Factor, or if you're a fan of some of the later incarnations of the team, this is yet another whole new incarnation of the team going along with all the Katati stuff and everything else going on with all the X-Men books. Great time to be an X-fan. That's your new #1. Cable #2 is obviously the second issue of yet another of the new X Renaissance books. Whole new take on good old Ascani-san right there. Amazing Spider-Man #45 begins the new round of Sin Eater stuff. Again, if you're 100 years old like me, you remember the death of Jean DeWolf being one of the big events in the history of Spider-Man. And now the Sin Eater is back. I waited like 30 years to see Peter Parker punch that guy in the face, so that's going to be cool. Symbiote Spider-Man. Another Spider book of the week, because everybody always needs more Spider books like that one, or Spider-Man Noir. A little like Batman, it's neat to see all the different cool things that they do with the Spider-Man mythos. And Spider-Man Noir was a big deal and was a big hit, so you might want to pick up that one and this week's #2 to see what that was all about. Iron Man 2020. It's about just about the last of the Marvel books for the week, except for Star Wars Darth Vader, one of the greatest villains in all of fiction. I've been saying for a long time that the Darth Vader titles are some of the very best of the Star Wars stuff that Marvel's been doing, but it's all really solid. Check out the main book, check out this new run of Darth Vader, check out the new run of Dr. Aphra. Like X-Men, great time to be a Star Wars fan, great time to be a Marvel fan. A lot of good stuff going on. Not a big DC week, but always fun stuff to talk about. DC Cybernetic Summer. Because, let's face it, we're all having a cybernetic summer this year, right? Comic-Con at home, Zoom meetings, and now here's your big cool DC summer special. I love these summer specials. DC does a great job with their anthology books, all their top talent, all their top characters. Yeah, it's kind of pricey, but it's a big supersized book. Like I say, all your favorites in there. Their Valentine specials are always fun. The Halloween specials are always fun. And like I say, we're all having a cybernetic summer, so that's going to be pretty cool. Batman Superman number 10, because it's always fun to see the latest incarnation of a book called World's Finest. And Wonder Woman 759, got to show you the B cover. I said a little earlier, I generally stick to the A covers, but this one's done by Jim Lee. And, you know, Jim Lee doesn't need any help from me, but hey, he is awesome, and there's a great Wonder Woman cover by Jim Lee. Legion of Superheroes, number 7. One of the many Bendis books rolling out from DC. You all love some Legion. Red Hood Outlaw. And Suicide Squad number 7. Take it to the dark side of the DCU. This issue of Suicide Squad is going to be a big deal. John Constantine Hellblazer is your Sandman Universe, formerly known as Vertigo, book of the week. And Plunge is your Joe Hill House Black Label book of the week. Like I say, not a big week from the DC guys, but always lots of good stuff. It is a huge week for the indie folks. Been talking up a lot of these indie publishers, and boy, this is a great week to try something non-Marvel, non-DC. Let's talk a little Stranger Things. This is the second Stranger Things original graphic novel from Dark Horse Comics, of course. This is your YA book of the week, though we have a couple more of those to talk about. It's a big Stranger Things week for Dark Horse. This is, as I say, the second original graphic novel. Grab the first one if you missed it. This is Stranger Things Volume 3. Don't talk about a lot of trade paperbacks, but love me some Stranger Things, and Dark Horse has done a great job with all this stuff. Again, this is the trade for Volume 3, which means there's obviously 2 other series ahead of it. So if you're a Stranger Things fan, you want to check all this stuff out, because Dark Horse sort of reinvented franchise comics back in the 90s, and they do a great job with their Stranger Things stuff. Speaking of the 90s, let's talk some Spawn. Love me some Spawn. You probably checked out the Todd McFarlane documentary thing that's been rolling out. Maybe you saw his panel with the Comic-Con at Home thing. Always talking up Spawn, always saying it's still one of the best comics out there, one of the best ones Image does, still has has always had some of the best art in comics. If you've been away for a little while, always a good time to come back and check out some Spawn. That is one of Image's original hits. Ascender from Jeff Lemire and Black Magic from my man Greg Rucka show you that what has happened in the ensuing 20-something years since Spawn number 1. Great creators like Jeff Lemire and Greg Rucka can go over to Image to do great books like Ascender and like Black Magic. Those are some of the more modern hits. Lost Soldier number 1 is your first issue Gotta Have It Image book of the week, because there's always a first issue Gotta Have It Image book of the week, and you want to grab them. Why? Because this is that Texas Blood number 2, and now if you see the number 2 and you go looking for the number 1, it's going to cost you like double cover. You're going to have to get a reprint. That's why I always tell you, grab those first issue Gotta Have It Image books of the week. Speaking of greatness, IDW and Usagi Yojimbo, the latest addition to the Comic Book Hall of Fame. Got in there in the Eisners this year. I've been encouraging you guys to check out the Eisner Awards from Comic-Con at Home, and you'll see a lot of Stan Sakai and a lot of Usagi Yojimbo on there. Why? Because it's one of the greatest books of all time, one of the most unique comics out there. So do yourself a favor, pick up the first issue, catch up to this recent issue. There's really nothing in comics like Usagi Yojimbo. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Vampirella Red Sonja is my Dynamite book of the week, because it's great to see them both in the same issue, especially with those cool Jay Lee covers. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is your Boom Studios book of the week, because you guys love the MMPR. But Firefly is my Boom Studios book of the week, because I love me some Mal and Zoe kicking butt. That's just great stuff. Rogue Planet is my Oni Press book of the week, because I love me some dark sci-fi. Like I say, this is a great week for the independent folks. If your list is mostly Marvel, DC, then you got to check out more books from this part of the video, because there's lots of great stuff like Rogue Planet, like Blade Runner 2019. That's my Titan book of the week, because I love me some Blade Runner. Did I mention that I like dark science fiction? Archie, because I love me some Archie. This is your more PG-13, more mainstream version of the Archie comics that you know and love. A lot more of Archie to talk about in just a minute, but to round out the indie stuff is Dark Arc, After the Flood. Love me some Dark Arc, love me some Animosity. This is my opportunity to tell you to check out Comic Shop Talk Live this Saturday, 2 p.m., Facebook, YouTube. We're going to have Mike Martz, the editor-in-chief of Aftershock Comics. We're going to be talking some this week's Dark Arc. We're going to be talking a lot of things, because we love us some Aftershock Comics. We're really looking forward to that. Like I say, great week for the indie guys. Everybody should have some of these on their list. And did I mention a little more Archie? This is the first issue of Archie Showcase Digest, to demonstrate that Archie still does all of the things that has kept Archie great for 80 years. I talk about their horror line, I talk about their PG-13 mainstream comics, but they also still do an awesome job with all their all-ages stuff. And this is the second Archie horror novel. This original novel is based on the hit Archie horror comics Vampironica. I love me some Vampironica. And look, it's a real book. A graphicless novel, as I like to call them. Archie does a little bit of everything. And like all these other publishers, everybody should have an Archie book on their list. And boy, what a ton of other great all-ages stuff too. Marvelverse Captain America is part of the team up with Marvel and IDW with their all-ages stuff. All kinds of different books from different eras in this little action-packed graphic novel. There's a shot of John Byrne, Captain America, right there, because I never miss a chance to say John Byrne. Marvel Action Spider-Man, another great issue, again, in the mashup of Marvel and IDW. And last but definitely not least, you get three little golden books. You know I never miss a chance to talk up little golden books, especially when they have the Falcon, one of my all-time favorite heroes. He's a partner, not a sidekick. Or the Turtles. You love the mighty TMNT, so go ahead and introduce them to the younger readers in your life. And Skeletor. If there's a villain in fiction as cool as Darth Vader, maybe it's Skeletor. Maybe Skeletor is a little inappropriate for an all-ages little golden book, but hey, it's a little golden book, so you pick that up and you give it to the all-ages reader in your life. Lots and lots of great books, so check those shipping lists. Go to black-cat-comics.com and score all of your favorites, and maybe even pick up a couple of new things. Let's see, lots and lots of things to talk about. As I said, make sure that you check out Comic Shop Talk Live, 2 p.m. Friday or Saturday, Facebook and YouTube. Editor-in-Chief Mike Martz from Aftershock Comics. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you tune in. And Black Cat Classics. We're keeping it rolling with Black Cat Classics, Friday, p.m., 6 o'clock. Friday, 6 p.m. Batman theme. Lots of great vintage Batman comics. Black Cat Classics, Friday, 6 p.m. We got all kinds of events going on here at Black Cat Comics, so check out the website and check the schedule for all of that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.